Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. I was right between 2 and 3, that last chart.
Oh, of course.
I'm just saying. I'm working on it, okay?
Good job.
Working on it by having candy. Just kidding. All right, let's... I do like that when he does that, too. All right, we're trading our sugar rushes to talking about economic development. That was the best transition.
It was so good. It was so
done.
sweet.
Yesterday, what would you say? Administration officials and builders and residents and everybody else in between getting updated on some economic development opportunities here in the city of Fitchburg. Take a look.
When you think about all things related to economic development, whether it's retention or attraction or workforce development, knowing who you are is the most important thing you can do. In other words, we're asset-based. So when people ask, for instance, what are your major attraction targets? Well, we're not going to mention textiles. We're not going to mention shipbuilding. You don't see too many ships being built in this area, and we're not a heavy textile area. We focus on our strengths, and those strengths are, of course, advanced manufacturing, just like it is throughout the rest of the state, but less so here. And then we have a significant focus on information communications technology. Life sciences, or everything related to biosciences, are growing like crazy here, as you all know. And then, of course, ag, food, and beverage, legacy industry, which is also strong throughout the rest of the state, but people don't realize just how strong it is here. And the last one is healthcare, which is a very significant sector throughout the country. Site selectors, again, basically glorified commercial brokers. There's a couple hundred of them throughout the country that play in this field on a regular basis. So we spend an awful lot of time courting them. And all too often we get cities that say, hey, we want to give you a, Old McDonald's farm has this great 50 acres. All we got to do is, but within the next 9 months we can own it, and then we'll get it zoned, and probably by 2025 we'll have it served. So can they wait 7 years? Odds are good they won't. So what we want to make sure that communities are doing, and Fitchburg has done it as well as anybody, is prepare sites and have them shovel ready. Have no doubt about ownership, no doubt about mitigating wetlands, no doubt about zoning, about access to broadband, access to other services as well. What are my biggest concerns? The current administration has not favored the University of Wisconsin. The University of Wisconsin, as I said earlier, we're asset-based. It is our #1 asset in this region, and we need to make sure that it continues to be funded. When you talk about $1 billion annually of research, top 5 generally, last year we dropped to 6th around the country, that's a critical issue. And what people don't understand is when a professor gets a $50 million grant to study something, it's not going to the University of Wisconsin. If that professor decides he wants to go to Chapel Hill, he's taking that $50 million grant with him or her. And so we need to make sure that that research continues to be done here, because it's that research that spins off an awful lot of the businesses that I talked about earlier, particularly now in life sciences. We have to invest in our infrastructure, and that is particularly of concern to this area, because 4 years ago we were told that the Beltline was going to be reconstructed in 2023. About a year later we found out it was backed up to 28. This year we learned that they're not even funding the study for the reconstruction of the Beltline. And we are the fastest growing population in the state as well. And so as you look at what's happening by 2033, which is when it will likely get reconstructed, we're going to have a population here that Beltline can't sustain. And as you grow the economy like we've been able to grow, thankfully, over the last decade, along with the population, that Beltline is going to be by far the most congested road in the state of Wisconsin, also the road with the most accidents, and we have to find a better way to make that infrastructure one of our assets like it was in the 90s.
I'm just going to give a good overview of Fitchburg economic development and the activity that's going on in our community. It's driven mainly by our existing businesses. multifamily apartment construction, and finally, it's been a while coming out of the recession, we have multiple single-family subdivisions going. And that's going to lead us to have more housing starts here in 2018, and we're going to have a really good balanced year of growth, I think, here in the city of Fitchburg. The other thing is we're on the short list for multiple requests for proposals that are out there for regional companies that are looking to expand. So hopefully in the next month or two, we get some good news from a couple of the prospects that we're on the short list for, and we've got some groundbreakings that'll be coming forward in the future. Here's Fitchburg at a glance in 2018. The theme is kind of diversity. We've got our geographic diversity with the urban and rural. We've got economic diversity with our industry clusters, and we've got workforce and population diversity. We're one of the most diverse populations in the state of Wisconsin, with 30% of our community either African American, Latino, Hispanic, Asian. And that's something that we're very proud of. We think it's a strength from a workforce development standpoint. We're where a lot of communities would like to be. We're young and growing and diverse.
Madison and the Madison region are now a top 20 community when it comes to the quality of our economy, when it comes to the creativity of our economy. You have to come here and see what's going on with respect to information communications, technology, life sciences, particularly our gaming industry, for instance. And you have to come here and fully appreciate the value of this university and its impact on the talent that it shoots out, its impact on patents, its impact on new businesses that are being created all the time. And then, of course, if I'm talking to someone who might have an impact on those three threats, I also say, let's make damn sure we keep it that way. And let's reverse this trend of defunding the university, and let's try to do more to better fund our infrastructure.
There you go. We'll have this full luncheon up a little bit later in the next month. We need to take a quick break. Wrap up the show next. It is TF.